and welcome back, friends, to another edition of Deconstruction Junction podcast with Dr. Flo and Tara Praolo. I am back again telling you not what I heard, but what I know. What I know is that you're loved and lovable. You've always been loved and lovable, and you're always going to be loved and lovable. And how you relate to your loved and lovableness today is going to determine everything that you're able to manifest, allow into your life, and be able to receive. And it is a thrill to be with you today as we unpack the current events that are happening in the world around us and the things that are happening internal to our hearts. I'm an online coach and mentor. Someone at the T-Mobile, where I was getting the new internet earlier in the week, said, "So, you're a teacher, huh?" Yes, I teach voice, I teach performance, and I teach courage and confidence to folks who want to grow in that on the planet. And so if you're out there and you're interested in courageously releasing your voice and fearlessly putting yourself out into the world, or just starting a podcast like we do towards the end of every week, just let me know. I would love to help you grow and assist you towards the manifestation of your dream. We've been joined for the last 2 weeks by the fiercely talented Tara Praolo. Introduce yourself to the folks today and let them know what brings you to the drinking gourd.
Hello, y'all. I'm slightly distracted by my toddler who is attempting to, Lord only knows. Um, Only the toddler knows what the toddler is trying to do. Great. I'm Tara Priolo. I'm your resident Black biracial multi-passionate musician. I make the intangible tangible and help you release your entanglements. Um, I listen, y'all. I I'm currently working towards in 9 days a world premiere of a black opera written by a black woman with libretto by a black dude ski. Like literally an all black cast. Like it is very cool. Well, almost all black. Um, but and then paired with being at the epicenter, and I feel like people are finally getting it. Like I saw like 3 times before I got on here, like people being like, Minnesota is just a test ground. Yeah. Yeah, girly pop. We are. We are. And it's continuing to get darker and darker and darker here. And also it's supposed to be like it's not even supposed to get above 0 tomorrow. So that's my current situation. um of doing all of it. It's not going to be as cold in Minneapolis as it is like up where my mom lives, y'all. I think the high is like -16 tomorrow. Like not warm at all. I just hope that one of my kiddos that rides their bike here actually wears a coat tomorrow. That would be nice. Normally they are wearing shorts and a t-shirt in the middle of winter. Because kids will be kids. But anyway, y'all, I am excited to get into this and have a moment to actually focus on all of the things and talk about all the things, whether it's inspirational or not, um, because the chaos is the point, right? Like to make us feel like we have no solid landing spot or we can't actually relax and we can't actually like take a moment for self-care and self-love and self-acceptance. That is the point. That is what they're trying to do. And so to take this moment out of my day, um, Piper, be careful, please. Seems worth it. My child is currently trying to get up on the table, y'all. Toddlers, man. And we would love if you are a person that wants a space like dedicated to talking about anything and everything. or you just have a story to tell, or whatever, you want to focus on a topic uh, from your life, feel free to contact either one of us or come into the Love and Action community, and we are happy to have you as your name here. Come on by. We would love to have other guests for conversation, um, because the more the merrier. And the more viewpoints, I think, the more we're able to identify with the fact that literally everyone is human. And so even if you don't agree with everything that we're saying, right? Or like you think that we always agree or something like that, it would be so worth it for you to come disagree with us, you know? Now, there are things we don't tolerate. However, um, we would still like to have dissenting voices if that is something you are interested in. And I think I'm up first, per usual. Did
Well,
you have
before
anything
we
to add?
go, yeah, I wanted to say that number one, wonderful introduction. Number two, the genesis of this podcast came about because Tara and I are always behind the scenes talking about the inner workings of religion and politics, and generally unpacking the deep and meaningful pieces of the world every day behind the scenes. And we wondered what it would be like to bring these conversations forward. And so for the last few years, we've been talking in Clubhouse spaces, TikTok spaces, now today over on Facebook and YouTube about what we see in the world and how it's making us feel, and the parts of life that we are calling towards us, and the stuff that we're rejecting. Things like 5-year olds being used as bait.
Yeah. So, and actually, that's up first if you go to the next slide. And so once again, ICE has escalated. So the picture you see here, if you're watching on a video platform, this is Liam. Liam is 5, and Liam was used to lure his father out of his home, and then both of them were taken by ICE. I am going to read a statement that says detained, but the correct word. Oh, hang on, y'all. My child is trying to get down, and there's nothing below them. Hold on, baby. Yeah, that's a bad life choice. Can we not do that? Can we not do that, honey? You want to get down? There you go.
Toddlers, man. The idea that our parents kept us from jumping off of tall things we were that age as well is nuts.
Nuts. I think we have gotten what we needed. Anyway, so Liam is him and his father were kidnapped, right? They were abducted, they were trafficked. So one of these threads says detained. You don't detain children. You kidnap them. Like, that's not a thing. So from Aaron Parnas, which y'all can say what you want about him. He's kind of a piece of shit, but also he's tweeting all day long the news. So, this is from him. So ICE detained a 5-year-old boy in Minnesota, using him as bait to lure his family out of his home, or out of their home, according to NPR News. And the dad chats, who is a lawyer here in town, says, I spent 4 hours of my day tracking down where a 5-year-old was sent. A 5-year-old. I will never understand this. And I want to be really clear that we still don't know where Liam is. And it's been over 24 hours. There's suspecting that he is in San Antonio, but that has not been confirmed. We don't know if he's with his family. We don't
In
know.
Texas? Wait, the kid got kidnapped and trafficked from Minnesota and maybe in
That's what they're
Texas
doing with
now?
a lot of the people here. Yeah. A lot of the people that they're taking, they're deporting from Minnesota down to Texas. Um, so it's really bad, y'all. And this is not Liam was not the only child taken yesterday. There was a 10-year-old in his same vicinity, and then two others in Columbia Heights, which is where this happened. There were two teenagers taken from South Minneapolis. There was I believe he was 17, taken from a high school. So this is not like this is the norm. The ICE agents have started approaching cars in plain clothes and pretending like they're from Indivisible and trying to get information. And they've been staging in daycare parking lots. Like they are using the children to get the parents out. And I chose this picture of Liam because the picture that NPR is using and other places are using is this picture with him, like literally in the winter. He's got a little cute hat on and he's got a Spider-Man backpack. And that's how they took him. There's a video of a mom trying to get them to stop taking the dad, and there's toddlers. Like, it's really bad, y'all. Like, it's not okay. It's really not okay. And it's really hard to wake up every morning and know that, like, every bus stop around here, every school around here is being targeted. There's so many people afraid to go to the grocery store, afraid to go to school, afraid to go to the library, afraid to leave their homes. And we'll talk about this a little bit later, but ICE, like, something flipped, and now ICE doesn't need signed warrants to enter people's homes. So, like, there's nowhere that is safe. There's nowhere. They can just do what they want, and there's basic immunity, right? Like, it's really bad. The next slide, I believe, is another school that was
Wait,
targeted.
pause. How does this? Don't we have constitutional rights as it relates
They've
to
been
search and
ignoring them.
seizure?
They've been ignoring them for ages. The non-citizens that they have been taking have been denied constitutional rights, which the Constitution, by the way, y'all, applies to anyone on American soil. Anyone. And they have been denying them lawyers this entire time. 2 days ago, they stopped allowing citizens to have their lawyers present after being detained. It's really bad. So the next slide is another school. If you would make this big for me, please. This is from Aaron.Rupar, RUPAR. ICE is terrorizing school children in the Twin Cities again today. This is from 2 days ago, and their families. And this says, this is from Good Shepherd School, which is right up the street from me. Per our school policy, we are currently on a stay indoors. This is so small on my screen. Hold on, y'all. I'm making it bigger. Making it bigger. Hopefully it's less blurry. It's not less blurry. It's fine. And are operating inside as typical, following confirmation from the GVPD, which is Golden Valley Police Department, that federal officers are present in the parking lot that borders the Good Shepherd campus. At this time, 2 vehicles have already left the area, and we anticipate the remaining 2 vehicles will depart shortly. We will continue to monitor the lot that is viewable from our campus and will not allow students outside until the lot is cleared. It is also super cold, so we may not go outside today anyways. Thank you. And this happened, like I said, in Golden Valley. And this was 2 days ago.
I don't like the terrorism of it all.
I really had a problem
with the point.
I really had a problem with the targeting of the children. Like, that is something that's even different from Trump's first presidency, right? it's just it like, when they go for the kids that it's about to get really bad. Like, we think it's bad now, and it's going to get significantly worse. Um, yeah.
I've been looking into this while we tape today, and it says that in a controversial internal ICE memo, they are asserting that officers can use force to enter homes using only an administrative warrant when someone has a final order of removal. And this is a claim, as we've been talking about, that challenges the established understandings of the Fourth Amendment and its protections. It's wild. The people who lived in the apartment that we now live in had to relocate because ICE came and took the father out of this apartment that we're sitting in. And they have no clue where he is. It's terrorism. And there are other apartments in the complex that we could have lived in. This one is available because it's available, but it's available because of terrorism, domestic terrorism. Where do you see this going?
I really I think we are going to see internment camps and concentration camps be reopened, because let's be clear, those have been on American soil before in the 1940s and before that. Because they're taking so many people. I cannot express to you all how many people they have taken. The numbers are very low, much like when we were like when Gaza was happening, and it's still happening. But like, there are abandoned cars on the street because ICE just takes the people and leaves the car there. ICE.
The numbers I'm pulling say 68,000.
So I see, because they're taking so many people and they need a place to put the people, they're going to have to start concentration camps again. They're going to have to start internment camps again. I hope that Minnesota does not capitulate. I don't really know how long our white leadership will continue to stand up to it. I just don't, yeah. There's not a ton, that can be done. I mean, this is a paramilitary force, which, yes, we outnumber them, but there's also, there's 3,000 of them ish. And even on these signal chats, there's only 1,000 people, or so. And they are making themselves like I say, you just see them. You just like, you go to the grocery store and they're in the parking lot. Like, they're literally everywhere. Yesterday they staged at a park down the street from me. They're at a bus stop. They're at the schools. They're at the daycares. They're at the houses. They're at, the other day, one of my friends caught them on the Ring camera. Like, it's so ubiquitous here, even in the cold, right? And I just like I said earlier, Minnesota is a testing ground, and whether Minnesota stands or falls, right, they're going to try this other places. We are very much headed into a very dark moment in history. This will be in the history books, and it will not stop, even if Trump is impeached or something like that, because we all need to stop focusing on Trump and actually like look at what this is, which is a paramilitary force that is being used to terrorize people. It's no different than ISIS. It's no different than the Taliban. It's no different than the Nazis. It's literally no different. It's no different.
We talk a lot in this particular space and on this podcast about the 1/3 of people who see this happening and are speaking up and out and against it, which is the group that we sit in actively in Love and Action Network, because we can't be Love and Action Network and not talk about these things. Then there's a group of people who actively want it to happen, and that's evil. And then there are people who don't know it's happening or pretending like it's not happening, which is dangerous as well. And we are all being forced to look at this and to name it, hopefully for the purposes of healing it. But it's really bad. And this whole time, I've not understood, just like racism, people who can see harm being done and choose to do nothing or say nothing as some false form of protection. They will come for you too once they're done tormenting these people. The idea is that everyone would be terrorized and afraid of what's happening in order to comply with an evil regime of white supremacist delusion. I'm not with it. These are humans who are trying to live here in their dash, their born date and their end date. And the fact that we don't want people to thrive and survive and be okay is an indictment on who we claim we want to be perceived as loving people. I don't like it. Because the fact is that no matter what hardship we went through in our childhood, we weren't getting taken across state lines to Texas and put into detention facilities. And what's going to happen with baby Liam when he grows up? And realizes I'm not laughing about baby Liam, y'all. I'm laughing about that child and the orchestra playing.
It's nice, isn't it?
Every day is Bring Your Kid to Work Day in Love and Action Network. We have a nursery in every space. Y'all, I want to give you some updates on what's happening in my world on Tuesday, thanks to the generosity of friends and family and prayer partners and love warriors all over the planet. A multi-country effort, and we're still fundraising and we're still rooting to rise. We moved out of the extended stay facility into our first official partnership apartment. And it's also the headquarters now of Love and Action Network, based in Savannah, Georgia. And I gotta say, That was one of the craziest experiences of my entire life. And a lot of people are doing the adulting thing and are hustling really, really hard to keep themselves from having to ever be in that situation. It was humbling, and it also made me acutely aware of how we are all touched in some way by the suffering of other people. And in the same ways that Tara just teared up about baby Liam being used as bait for his family, I will never forget in my life the gentleman who was seeking to sell me the shoes off of his feet in the cold because he wanted to do a substance to not feel the pain of his humanity. He said, "You want to buy some shoes, man?" This is happening all over the country. As I was actively moving my things out of the extended stay to come into our new apartment, he was standing there drooped over, just drooling into the pavement, like sleeping while standing. And then after the substance began to kind of leave his system, he then tried to sell me the shoes off of his feet to get more of the chemicals. As a person who is a former addict, it was painful to see. I'm grateful for people who believe in Poppy and I, and people who believe in our happy ending, and that even though folks sought to bury us and our light, they fail to remember that we are seeds, and all of us are seeds. And no matter how much dirt life tries to put on top of you, there's an opportunity for water and sunlight and for you to blossom and bloom where you are planted. And I want to offer a heartfelt thank you to everybody who helped us bloom where we were planted. Some of you know that we were shoved 3 weeks ago out into the cold, into the winter of Savannah, Georgia, to fend for ourselves. And there were so many of you in the community that said, no, I don't want this guy to perish by the side of the road. I don't want this guy to give up on what he believes in. I don't want this guy to not see his dream come true of encouraging, equipping, and empowering thousands of people who are in despair, thousands of people who don't want to be on the planet because they feel such deep suffering and grief, both good grief and bad grief. I want to help this man and his partner fuel their mission. And to those of you who have fueled the mission and continue to offer fuel to the mission of our life and ministry and mission car, I'm sincerely grateful. And over the next 30 days, I'm not going to stop asking for help and continuing to ask until we get it. We spent a lot of money on deposits and fees and moving costs, and we're not done yet completing the assignment. And so expect to see Fuel for Flow campaigns going out. And when I say Fuel for Flow, I'm talking about gasoline for the gas tank. I'm talking about replacement cost for shower heads, and Tara has already purchased our air mattress so that we didn't have to sleep on the floor because Poppy's family threw our pillows and our bedding into the street in envious, jealousy filled anger. There is only abundance. And we're going to tap into that to make Love in Action Network and Dr. Flo and the Love Experience a reality. And so, what have you witnessed, Tara, over the last 3 weeks in our experience that stuck out to you?
I don't know that there's like what, like you were saying earlier, like this is not a unique experience, and it's an experience that you had, and that I think people that haven't had it, or even people that have had it, don't want to experience again, right? Because it's not fun. However, our society creates this insanity, right? Like I literally, Piper, I think about the Christmas song, the Christmas shoes. Y'all ever heard the song, The Christmas Shoes? It's one of my daddy's favorite Christmas songs. Sir, I wanna buy these shoes for my mama, please. And these shoes are just her size. Would you hurry, sir? Daddy says there's not much time. I want her to look beautiful if mama meets Jesus tonight. Right? That's the song. And it's about, like, I mean, obviously you can hear what it's about, but he doesn't have the money to pay for the shoes. This little kid doesn't have the money to pay for the shoes. And so the person singing the song, like, is sharing this story, and he's behind them, and he buys the shoes for the kid so that the mama can look beautiful if mama meets Jesus tonight. It's a very sad song. Okay. Also, like, we have this represented in our society, like The Pursuit of Happiness. Hello? Y'all ever seen that movie? Tear jerker. Tear jerker. Having to hold the door closed with his leg of the bathroom of a Subway to keep his son safe. And that is where they slept that night. That's reality. Like, that's not just like on TV, you know? So while it didn't strike me as unique, it was definitely something that I would rather no one in my life goes through again. Because it is just like the same way that, like, those of us that live here are carrying with us every time we leave the door, that ICE could potentially get us, essentially, right? Because they're attacking everybody. You know, it's not it. No one is safe in Minnesota at this point. That I was carrying a lot of that with me as well, like the pain of that situation. I'm very glad that there's more stability now. I'm very glad that there was the kindness of the community to help Poppy and Flo lift into this, because as much as over the years, like, we've been taught, you know, like, try to keep a low profile. I think that's part of it too. Like, keep a low profile. Don't, like, you know, don't sign your life away too soon. Like, that's what they tell you. But then they also tell you to go to school, go to college, and rack up a whole bunch of student loans at 18, right? That's what they tell you. No. Ouch, Piper. So yeah, I just, no. I am glad that there is stability, and that there is a belief in stability. Sorry, y'all. This child is really trying to be on camera, and mama does not allow this child to be on camera on public public TV. So
Y'all stay tuned. We're going to continue to let you know what we're seeking to build. One of the biggest things that came out of this experience was a desire for us to pivot our messaging concerning the mission from this idea of surviving to actually building things. And if I can continue to build service opportunities and opportunities to be a blessing to people, I know that the fortunes will come to allow us to continue our work. And I'm very, very grateful to those of you who have participated already and those to come.
all right. More ice updates as my child throws things in the background. So just finish that. This has a link to my Instagram. So this is not me necessarily promoting my Instagram, but I am putting out daily reports of what happens because I do happen to see it all. So there is definitely a typo, but y'all are just gonna have to get over it. So I said they are targeting the children. And if you would go to the next slide, this is yesterday, y'all. This January 21st, 2026. Which is day 14. So I've been counting for the days since they shot Renee Good. And then the 50 days is the number of days that ICE has been here with a significant presence. So nothing and everything happened today. Somehow it continues to get darker. Yesterday, it was reported that a 4 or 5-year-old was taken into custody. Today, they released the picture of him in his Spider-Man backpack. I have heard reports that he has been deported to Texas. Next slide. Please. In the same area, Columbia Heights, 4 other children were taken into, including a 10-year-old. Teens were taken from South Minneapolis. There's a viral video of a mother trying, of a mother trying to protect her children as their dad is abducted. The children are toddlers. This one hit me hard. Next. A judge overturned the stay on not targeting protesters. Bovino, who, for those of you that don't know, he's like the head of Border Patrol here or something. He's an asshat. He's literally a Nazi. Bovino decided to use CS gas on a crowd. And for those of you that don't know what that is, CS gas is a gas, it's a particular kind of tear gas that is banned from warfare. Like I just like it is banned from warfare. And they are using it on citizens and non-citizens and humans in the United States of America. Like, I need y'all to like.
I gotta bring this up one more time. Like, we talk about this in our back channels and in our underlying network system of support here in Love and Action Network. I don't see a lot of people talking about this in the grocery store or in the public square. Like, what in the cognitive dissonance is going on?
I mean, people here are definitely talking about it, but I do also know that, you know, the news of Minnesota is getting suppressed. After the weekend that Renee Good was killed, a lot of the news stations went silent on it. So, you know, NPR is reporting, Star Tribune is reporting, like, but those are local stations. So, yeah. Another rule has changed. ICE is no longer required to have a judge's signature on a warrant to enter private property. And I said, read that again. And then next. This morning, I awoke to staging happening at a nearby park, multiple grocery stores within 10 minutes of me being hit. The helicopters are back, and they are still targeting the kids. There are reports of ICE agents in plain clothes gathering information from patrollers, etc. An Amber alert went off at 11 p.m. this evening. I don't know what happened with that. And it's changeover day for the signal chats. The largest ones turn over once a week, which means I've been connecting with people for at least that long. It is my second changeover of chats. Someone was pepper sprayed at point blank range. Literally, there were 2 ICE agents holding this person down, and a third one came by and sprayed that person directly in the face, point blank range, with pepper spray. The House is voting on funding for ICE soon. I don't know if that happened today or not. There's been other shit happening in my vicinity, so I haven't looked at that. We got two more slides, y'all. The racial profiling is still present. So police chiefs around Minnesota are reporting their own officers are being accosted by ICE. ICE is using the exact same tactics police do to profile Black and brown people. A Black man who was detained is reporting that ICE agents took trophy pictures with their personal cell phones. There is just so much darkness. And the last slide is abolish ICE, make good trouble, do good work, and joy is our revolution, which has the wrong date on it. Y'all will forgive me for my typos. There's a lot of shit happening. So that was yesterday. And I've been posting these, I think, since day 10. I have to do a midday update today because of something that we'll talk about in a little bit. It's bad. It's bad here, y'all.
It's also crazy that we have to go on with making money and providing for our families and building our organizations, even while we are feeling this deeply. Like, those of us who are truly empathic, and those of us who are empathetic, and those of us who feel deep emotional connection to the suffering of others, it's been like walking through mud that's waist deep for months. Like, everything that you just shared, everything shared makes me feel so depressed that it almost makes it impossible for me to go out and make the money that I have to make in order to stay alive.
Yeah, that conversation was just happening in a mastermind chat that I'm in, that I have to kind of fully respond to later because I just can't, like, we have to go on, right? Those of us that have, and this is my this is my like life story here, is like those of us with enough privilege to not be accosted by just our looks. And again, that's not to say that ICE isn't targeting everyone. They shot a whole white woman in broad daylight literally 14 days ago, right? A whole white woman. Like, but those of us that like we have to continue because there are too many that cannot, right? That want to fight, that it's not safe for them to fight. And so for me, I must continue. I must leave my house. I must go and do the mutual aid. And of course, like, I don't do a lot of the same things that I was doing 5 years ago because I'm pregnant and I've got a toddler, right? I'm not going to take my toddler in harm's way, but I do. Piper, stop. I do feel that, yeah, I just need to, I need to continue. It doesn't force me down in some of the other ways because I know that, like, it's not going to get better just by laying down. You know, it's not going to get better by stopping fighting. Right? It's like,
They're
and it's not
actually trying to tire us out and fatigue us out enough and bombard us enough with the information so that we lay down and just let them
they're
obliterate.
trying, they are like, this is the strategy of Trump. And this has been true, like, and the strategy of MAGA is to attempt a mile, right? To attempt to take a mile to get an inch. And I refuse to give them that inch, right? I will live my life. I will fight ICE. I will do these things because you will not take an inch more of my freedom. You will not do that.
Do you think that there is a positive ending to this where the people resist? Like is there a V for Vendetta? If you've ever seen that movie, is there a
I
V for
hope
Vendetta
so.
moment that's happening? That's
I
coming?
hope so. I hope there's an Underground Railroad, Harriet Tubman, free the people, the slaves are free moment. It's hard to see it when I'm so close to it, right? It's one of those like forest in the trees thing, you know? Like, are you seeing the forest or are you seeing the tree? And it's right here for me, right? Like I look out my door and every time I see a car drive past, I have to make sure that that car is either a car, like here goes one right now. I got to make sure that I recognize that car, that it belongs in my neighborhood, and that it has a Minnesota license plate. Because if it doesn't have a Minnesota license plate, I got to go put it in a signal chat and check for a plate check. Right? Like that is reality outside my door right now. So it's hard to see that other world, right? It's hard to see that like we can overcome this because we are so inundated with it every moment of every day. However, as we talked about last week, everything that we want already exists. It is here right now under our feet. The world where none of this is happening, where everyone has enough, where everyone is living in their joy and in their love and in their peace and all of these things, it exists right here, right now. We don't got to die to have it. We don't got to let up on anything to have it. It is here if enough of us choose to believe that it is here. Right? And so like I do see, you know, like in these signal chats, it's like, oh my God, like, you know, I have like, what are we gonna do? Like I'm crying, you know, I'm crying about Liam. Like, what do I do? I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Like, and maybe we should just give up. No, 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 no. You got to see the world, that other world at the same time. You got to know that it's possible. And I think that is the work of activists and light workers and music workers and healers, is to both hold not all of it at once by ourselves, but hold it collectively, the trauma, while also simultaneously showing people this is the new world. Creating new art with a bunch of Black people written by Black people is my new world. And it exists in the same moment, in the same city that they are tear gassing and killing people. They exist together.
Reminds me of my ancestors who had to hold that they were enslaved and free at the same time. How do we hold the chains of the present moment and people actively being chained while also being champions for brighter days to come?
Right. I go back, I literally just always go back to Harriet Tubman. Like in those moments of doubt, like I don't know where I saw it, but somebody was doing a post on Harriet Tubman and they said Harriet Tubman refused to believe that slavery was her reality. She literally was like, this is not real. It's not real for me. So I'm gonna leave and it's not real. Right? Like I have a new reality that I will live. And so it was. Right? And so it was. But if you study Harriet Tubman, you know she went back and there were people that wouldn't come with her because they couldn't believe in her reality. And that is the thing, right? Like there are so many of us that just refuse to see the new reality. And I saw this video by Christiana Smith, and y'all know how I feel about Christiana Smith. First of all, I didn't know that lady was biracial. Okay, she done biracial, or I forgot. I may have known, but she a biracial lady. So she was talking the other day. She said, you know, like white people, y'all got to know that like your ancestors too had power. Like before they gave their culture up to whiteness, right? To assimilate into whiteness, there was power, right? And it is up to all of us to tap into the power that came before and will be again. All of us, every shade, every ancestry. That's what we're asking for. And again, like it is just like those of us that can hold the duality, that can hold the shadow and the light at the same time. We have to continue to show people how we can do that. We have to continue to embody it so that more people will believe that they can too. Right? Like, because until people believe that they can hold more than just, oh my God, I have to make enough money for my groceries. Right? We're going to be stuck in the same mess because all of this is relating to the same thing of tiring us out, making sure. That's why they're so surprised about Minnesota. I talked about Bovino in that post. He said on a press conference, he was like, Minnesota has made it slightly more difficult for us than we were expecting because Minnesotans aren't backing down because we done been here 5 years ago. Like, you know what I mean? But it is that. It's like we here because this state in particular helps people. There is an amazing social services network here. There, like, we have diversity. We are a state that just cares for its people because we have that and hold that in our reality. That is the reality of being a Minnesotan, is that your government, while we can criticize it, helps you. It helps you. And that is a reality that we hold, which is not the same as someone living in Louisiana, where the government does not help you. But we live this reality. We can show you this reality. We have it. It is our life. Right? So we can hold both of it. Both of it, both of them. Both of them. Yeah. Anyway, we gotta move on because I still
All
gotta
of
get
it.
up. Yeah.
I looked up while you were talking. What would an organization that's the opposite of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement look like? Because unless we start to actually talk out loud about what the antithesis is of these programs, it's kind of like a fuck ICE, abolish ICE, abolish ICE. We get rid of them, we run them out of town, as we saw on the weekend with Idina yelling, let it go, happening. Once, is it Jack Lang? Once he's run out of town, what happens next? And they said where ICE's mandate centers on enforcement, removal, and interior immigration control, the opposite would be a public facing agency committed to safeguarding human dignity, expanding legal access, and empowering migrant communities. And some of the core values would be understanding that human rights and dignity is foundational. It would offer due process and legal empowerment. It would reinstate community trust and collaboration. It would rely on the practice of restorative justice over punitive action and also bring through transparency and accountability. You'd have legal assistance and advocacy, trauma informed case management, language and cultural navigation centers, and also family reunification coordination. All kinds of case management for asylum seekers, cultural exchange and mentorship programs, which of course we love engaging in here. And the whole thing would be non coercive and service oriented. So we have the think tanks and the technology and the research and the education to have a better coexistence with each other. They're just people with lots of money who don't want to allow us to have the piece of that. I've got MS Now playing in the background here, and these people are clearly getting paid to talk about what Trump can and cannot do. There's a bunch of just people who do not look like us in power who are fueling this propaganda machine to sell commercial ads in between it all. And it's bad for Liam and his family, and it's bad for us. We don't have a lot of time left today because I've got a husband to pick up for lunch, and Tara's got to continue to work her world premiere. I want to talk briefly today about embarrassment and how being embarrassed about your humanity and being embarrassed about where you are versus where you're going can be a big impediment for people. And I realized this morning in our Unfuckwithable Mastermind, which is my daily accountability and mentorship program, where we share daily what we're going through in the trenches and help each other out of it for an affordable rate. I realized this morning that a lot of the roadblocks and the problems I've been having over the last year as it related to doing my work and making my money had to do with the fact that I did not feel worthy of having anything nice because I was embarrassed about having had better or similar conditions and losing it. And if you get embarrassed about having a rainy day and allow that to keep you from being hopeful about the sunny days to come, you're going to sink your own battleship. And so if you're out there today listening or watching and you're going back and forth within yourself as it relates to feelings of toxic shame and guilt and embarrassment about what could have been better, but you're dealing with what is, I want to invite you to let that shit go. We talked about it last week. We've been talking about it for weeks. Hating your humanity. My hating, sorry, y'all. Mic
Jesus.
check. Mic check. My hating what I'm going through is not going to make my circumstance any better. My being a Broadway talent, New York living professional, tumbling down into one of the lowest valleys that I've ever experienced, and then feeling bad about it and being embarrassed that people saw me on the mountaintop. And we're all going to have mountaintop experiences in our lives, and we're all going to have deep, 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 dark nights of the soul. Being ashamed and feeling guilty about where you are, it has not been the most productive place for me. In fact, it's gotten in the way of me producing the kind of life that I know I deserve and that I'm talented enough to have. We're talking yesterday on TikTok about it. It's my TikTok audience and my super fans on TikTok. They're like, you're always happy all the time. Yes, there's a happiness and a gratitude that exists within me. But the thing that covers the sun and creates cloudy days for me emotionally is being ashamed of being a former addict and wanting to get rid of the pain of my life and my heart with drugs and alcohol, or to have had my wildest dreams come true but not having the self-esteem and confidence and courage to maintain it because I didn't want to choose to be vulnerable in front of the family and friends that wanted to support me. Or I was too embarrassed to ask for help and to find resources and build a deeper network to do what I want to do with my life and not what's expected of me. The last 3 weeks to the last 3 months has often held a very similar embarrassment or shame that I felt 20 years ago when I was coming out for the first time as a same gender loving individual. It's one thing for other humans to reject you and to be embarrassed by you. It's a different kind of feeling to reject and be embarrassed by yourself. And where I'll land is that none of us have any reason to be embarrassed about who we are in this human experience because we are deeply loved by the universe and each other. And if we continue to believe in ourselves and to connect with the right people, we will find that there's someone in every area of our lives that will find us to be lovable. Even the lady who came today to spray for pests found me to be extremely lovable. We don't have an Orkin man here at this apartment. We have an Orkin lady named Carolyn. And she is lovely. And she said, "You really, really made my day. Thank you for being so kind to me." We can be embarrassed about ourselves and dim our light, or we can choose to show up exactly as we are, give our best to life, and allow life to give its best back to us. My last 3 weeks of my life could be, or could have been, the most embarrassing, dark, cold phase of my entire journey. We choose to not see it that way. We choose to acknowledge that there's only abundance. And as Tara has said, everything that we are wanting from life and in our lives is already out there in the world. We just got to go get it and grab it and connect with those who find themselves to be loved and lovable enough to take us in. What say you, Priolo?
As I've said many times, you just got to let that shit go. Like, I was just having a conversation with somebody else yesterday that was like talking about wanting people to be like more kind. And I kept saying to them, like, you actually can't control other people. It's all about like your insecurities reacting to that thing, right? And your embarrassment, which ties it into this, like your embarrassment that somebody else has said something that affected you that way. And you got to let it go. You just like it doesn't serve you. It literally doesn't serve you. And the, I'll just ask my usual question, which is like, what are you making it mean about you? What are you making feedback from other people or feedback from the world or feedback from your brain? What are you making that mean about you? And how would it be if you like actually took it as positive or neutral versus making everything like a horrendous thing about yourself? Would you be happier? Would you be more able to access your joy and your peace and your love? Oh, good. Then we should probably just let that shit go, because it's not serving you. But that's all. That is mine. But that's easier said than done, y'all. It's easier said than done.
Easier said than done, and it can be done.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm realizing from your last share that embarrassment comes from taking other people's perception of you and people's opinions of you too personally.
Right. Yeah, nothing is
Like
personal.
the rest, nothing. And the recipe of my current embarrassment and the embarrassments of my past were that I over indexed other fallible, imperfect humans ideas about what they perceive me to be. They can't get in my noggin. They can't get in my life. They can't inhabit my body. These, well, if I were you, I would do this differently. Well, guess what? You're not me.
Right.
You're not me. And what you think about me and how you perceive me and how you want me to be, if I put too much emphasis on that and allow your external scorecard.
Oh, we lost your audio. Your mic might have died. The backup.
The backup.
There
Thank
we
you to
are.
the Paola Foundation. If I allow the external scorecards of life to determine how I'm supposed to feel about who I am inside, I'm going to be miserable for a very, very long time. I'm done. I'm done with all of that. Embarrassed for what? Embarrassed for who? How does that get you closer, Flo, to happy, healthy, and free?
Right. Quite right. All right, last one, and this will be quick because it's a developing story. So early this morning, probably around 9-ish. No, it had to be before because I saw it before I left. Um, federal the federal government, the federal somebody, the feds, arrested. Now it's four or five local activists here, including Nakima Levy Armstrong, which you may recognize that name. They have also arrested. Hang on, I just shared this on my feed. William Kelly, as well as Chantel and I believe Monica, which are all local activists that were active at the church protest on Sunday. There are reports also that a local federal judge blocked them from arresting Don Lemon. So, and the last I heard about it was that Nakima was supposed to be arraigned at 11:30 a.m., but the whoever the prosecutor, whoever was not able to provide a warrant for Nakima's arrest. So that is paused. So that's where we're at. Yeah, but not good, not great, not great.
Also, it gives that socioeconomic divide thing because Don is rich enough
Mm-hmm.
to afford to protect himself legally, whereas some of the others are not as fortunate.
Right. Now, thankfully, we have a pretty good system here because of what was happening during the George Floyd uprisings, that there are a bunch of organizations that specifically pay bail and also help with the legal fees of activists and protesters here. So, again, Minnesota takes care of its people. There's a hair in my mouth, y'all. That's what I'm doing. Got it. So, yeah, but it's also it's a tactic of terrorism. Like, how many times have you seen y'all activists arrested or trying to arrest the press? It is not a indicator of positivity. It is in fact an indicator that, again, things are likely going to get worse because of who they're going after um, on the public stage in particular. Piper, don't do that. And there's a little thread about it. William Kelly, a DeWoke farmer too, has now been arrested in relation to the city's church protest in St. Paul. This comes after civil rights attorney and activist Nikema Levy Armstrong was charged under 18 USC 241, a serious federal statute typically used for conspiracy against rights. Federal officials are trying to frame the protest as an organized effort meant to intimidate or to interfere with people's rights during a worship service. Supporters of Nikema and William Kelly strongly reject that narrative and say this was protected protest and free speech, especially as Minnesotans demand accountability for ICE linked actions and officials using the church space as political cover. Many are now watching closely, warning that these charges look like an escalation meant to chill dissent and intimidate activists. That was from Mercado Media, y'all.
That's exactly what it was. That's
Yep.
exactly what it was. Let's head on out to Threads really quickly to see what the pulse of the world is. Dapper Lou says, do you ever feel like you're having a personal renaissance? Yes, for sure. Do you ever feel like you're having a personal renaissance, Tara?
I have deja vu, but maybe that's the same sensation to people.
Hennessy Will says, if you don't have even a little existential dread, I cannot trust you.
I agree with that because you spiritually bypassing hard, boo boo.
People who fail to acknowledge what's directly in front of them, and what's directly in front of us, I feel, is we don't have to live this way. We're actively choosing as a collective to live this way.
Right.
And that gives me existential dread.
Right.
Like I've told y'all for years, this at times has felt like being in the car with someone who's drunk. You know, let me out. Let me out. One more thread. We were never getting Greenland. Mom Donnie says, we were never getting Greenland. What about the Epstein files? Says Mayor.
How long ago did he post that?
Yesterday, 23 hours ago.
That's an interesting theory, considering that currently there are literal negotiations going on for us to still buy Greenland. But sure. You okay, Piper?
You also got JD Vance out here defending the actions of ICE agents who took a 5-year-old boy, Liam Ramos. He says he says ICE agents had to take him in from the cold so he wouldn't freeze to death.
Yeah, he's here today. So, Piper, don't do that. No. No.
Also under this post with Mamdani, somebody says Redwood Coast Creative Art says, we don't want Greenland. We want healthcare, education, freedom of choice, immigration reform, the Epstein files, and 8647. What is 8647? Oh. All right. Today I learned. You all will have to Google on your own what 8647 is. Ooh. Wow. 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 We're calling for ceasefire now in our hearts and in our bodies and in our minds, in any way that I can be not at war with myself. People
Are you okay? Are you still with us?
I hope so. That was
Okay.
crazy.
I can hear you now. All of a sudden, it was just like you were gone.
Um, in any way that I can not be at war with myself or with other people, I'll take it. Not at war with my dreams, not standing by and watching families be destroyed or unalived on these televisions in our pockets. I want to continue to elevate and uplift the peace and protection of all people in every way that I can. What does ceasefire mean for you today, Praola?
I mean, I say the same thing all the time. Ceasefire now in our hearts and our minds and the world over. Because like I say, it starts with ourselves. It starts with the way that we're talking to ourselves, which is, a large part of the conversation like that we've been having this whole time. Like that sensation of hopelessness, not only is it the thing that they want us to feel so that they can control us, but it's also the easiest thing to feel. And not a lot of us want to face that hopeless sensation, right? Not a lot of us want to look it in the face and be like, actually, none of that shit is true that I'm telling myself about how it's hopeless, right? So for me, it's about not. Okay, we're good. Sorry, y'all. It was a black SUV pulling into my Hispanic neighbor's driveway, but it's their SUV, so we're good. Um, it's about not coming for myself when I make a typo in a post. It's about not overthinking everything and just getting the information out there because honestly, like, and I said this to, I think I said it in a caption the other day, like, I feel better when I'm informed, but I can't hold it all. So, like, I see it, I gotta also just like get it out the body. And so I do because that is what serves me, you know? And that's ceasefire.
I wonder, I just texted you, I wonder if the feed went down because of the 8647 statement. That was kind of
Well,
crazy. That happens to us from time to time. If you all are interested in connecting with us in our programs and how Tara and I are using the dash of our lives in order to help uplift people and to bring encouragement, equipment, and empowerment into the world, you can check that out over at lovedandlovable.bio.link, lovedandlovable.bio.link, lovedandlovable.bio.link. The Adopt a Black Artist program is still going strong. I will be picking back up my promotion of that program and my desire to aid and help folks locally here now at my home base and headquarters in Savannah, Georgia, and rippling outward. So if you're out there and you need someone to believe in your dream and take you seriously, and I cannot say this enough, there are people who have attempted to come into our Adopt a Black Artist program that simply don't take themselves or their dreams seriously. And I know what it's like to fall out of love with the dream. I've done that no less than 500,000 times with this particular one. I understand what it's like to have self doubt and self hatred and a lack of belief in yourself. I've struggled with all of the things that you all struggle through, plus some. But if you are wanting sincere help and support, we have tons of technology and infrastructure to make that possible. Just let us know by reaching out with a bold ask, and we'll do everything in our power to help you stay free. Daily peer support is still going on through our WhatsApp community and our Instagram broadcast channels. Please tap in and say hello. We would love to figure out where everybody went. And if you need admin and support services for your dream, you know to find us over at Love City Arts Creative Services Group. And also Terra Praolo Studio will be able to help you or refer you to resources that will encourage, equip, and empower. You can also Volunteer to be part of something bigger than yourself as you unite the talents. I'm sorry, y'all. You could. My magnesium is starting to hit me, and I love that feeling, but I have to slow down. If you want to be part of something bigger than yourselves as we unite the talents of diverse artists and celebrate the power of love through music, theater, and art, feel free to tap in through our website as well. We are continuing to build with resilience and perseverance, Dr. Flo and the Love Experience. And now that we're in our new place and I've got my studio set up, expect some songs coming back for that ass, including the new ones. I haven't even been able to do the new ones yet. There's only abundance and beyond. So if you're interested in hearing the concept music for the new show, you can also check out that through the link at lovedandlovable.bio.link, lovedandlovable.bio.link, lovedandlovable.bio.link. This is what I will look like in the future. This is my weekly vision board. Tara, tell the folks what you're going through and what you're going towards.
I've been telling y'all what I've been going through. We got TPS Community Commons. You can come on over to be in Blackening the Canon Liberation Conversations. I'm still working on perhaps creating a space for like all of the shit that I'm seeing that I don't really share, like in real time, like I guess in real time space. Also, my album is out. I have not checked it, and I am not going to check what the stats are for I Dream a World, but y'all can go listen to it at tarapriolo.bandcamp.com. And then, of course, we are 9 days away from a world premiere opera, which opens on January 31st. We also have 3 other shows, and there is an NPR broadcast on February 5th at 7:30 p.m. Central, and I almost called Dr. Flo Uncle Flo on the on the podcast. Is going to be hosting with Love and Action Network a listening party. So if you are interested in that, get in touch with either one of us and we could get you the link. Or if you just want to listen by yourself, that's cool. I have a little solo, so you'll hear me by myself. My first time singing in this space with an orchestra. As a soloist, essentially. So that's kind of cool. And that's that. Yeah.
That's beyond cool. It's freaking fantastic. Y'all, thank you so much for being sojourners through life with us. I do believe on many levels, we are leading each other home. And if what we shared today depresses you a bit or makes you feel some type of way, let us be grateful that we still can feel. And if we can feel, that means that we can take action. And hopefully, the action that you're taking today and the things that you're moving towards are loving and empowering and are bringing hope to the world. And that's all we seek to do with this podcast, is to highlight for the purposes of bringing hope. And so thanks for watching. On behalf of all of us here at Love and Action Network, including our leadership team, Tara Praolo Studio, Poppy Water 33, and Ask Dr. Flo on all platforms. Thank you for tuning into Clarity, Confidence, and Transformation today through the Deconstruction Junction podcast, available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Facebook, YouTube, and beyond. Stay in your power, stay in your joy, stay loved and lovable, and we'll see you very soon. Take care.